What if I told you that everything you've been taught about money, work, and life is wrong? You see, we are evolving faster than ever with technology, communications, transport, and so many areas, but still teaching the same old thinking about money. Governments around the world talk a big game about innovation, but when was the last big innovation in their tax system, for example? Today, we're going to rethink everything we know about dependency, independence, and what I call self-dependence. From the moment we are born, we're told a very specific story about life. It goes something like this: first, we're dependent on our parents. Then, we become independent when we enter the workforce. And finally, when we reach 65, we retire and depend on the government. But I believe this narrative is wrong, and it's time to change it. When we're born, we're dependent on our families for food, shelter, and care. This part is true, and it's a natural part of life. But the part where we become independent, that's a myth. When we get our first job, we don't become independent. We simply shift our dependency from our parents to a company. We're dependent on a paid check, promotions, and someone else's business model. And when we retire, we think it's a time of freedom. But for most, it's just another form of dependency, this time on the state or on the savings we may or may not have built. The issue with this model is that it teaches us to always rely on others, family, employers, governments, without building something for ourselves. Here's the reality: true independence comes when we own our future, when we become self-dependent. When we have ownership of our income, our wealth, and our time. Take a business owner, for example. They are self-dependent. They rely on their own initiative, innovation, and skills. They aren't waiting for a paycheck, they create value and, in return, generate income. But the idea of self-dependence isn't limited to owning a business. One of the ways we can all begin this journey of self-dependence is through the side hustle. A side hustle doesn't mean quitting your job today, but it does mean starting to build something that's yours, an investment, a small venture, or passive income. Many governments are now saying, save for your own retirement because we won't have enough. Some are even encouraging young couples to have more children to increase the tax base, to fund future generations. It's no secret that pension systems are strained. In many places, by the time the current generation of young workers reaches retirement age, the government's ability to support them will be diminished. We need to move away from the idea of simply relying on the government and start taking personal responsibility for our financial future. Self-dependence is about ownership of your time, your resources, and your income. And the earlier you start this journey, the better. You can work for a company, but at the same time, you should be building an alternative source of income. This could be through investments, real estate, or a side business. One of the most powerful assets in self-dependence is knowledge. Learn about money, business, and the economy, because no one will teach this to you in school. Self-dependence doesn't mean starting with millions. It starts with small steps, like saving, investing in yourself, or starting a small project outside of your regular job. This is why we created the Cogito Side Hustle. It's designed to be an entry point for people who want to begin their journey to self-dependence without having to quit their jobs or risk everything. With the side hustle, you can start building a passive income, investing in real estate, or even expanding your network, all while learning how to become self-dependent. It's a simple way to start creating value for yourself. Imagine starting a side hustle that brings in an additional 10% of your income. Over time, as this grows, you become less dependent on your job and more reliant on the income you've built on your own. This might not be always easy, but it's worth it, believe me. The future isn't guaranteed, and the systems we once thought were secure are not as reliable as they used to be. That's why self-dependence is more critical than ever. We need to start teaching this to our children, our employees, and ourselves, that true freedom comes not from dependence on others, but from building something that we own. The evolution to self-dependence starts today. So, ask yourself, what are you doing today to evolve into a self-dependent individual? What steps can you take, no matter how small, to start owning your income and your future? It's time to take action, to start building, and to join the journey toward self-dependence. Join us today to find out more on www.cogitometaverse.com.